I'm going to preface this video by making it clear that the United States, under Donald Trump as president, is dangerous for the world, has been acting in a manner that creates pain and suffering, and to be in a position of idolatry that you seem to think, and the evangelical movement of the United States, the Christian nationalist movement of the United States, white supremacy movement, and the Zionist movement seems to have embraced this moment in time to idolatrize this Donald Trump. He is not a messenger of God. He is not a messenger of any divine creator or divine energy. Any divine energy would not support pain and suffering. So let's be clear, there is no chosen race. The human being, regardless of religion, color, skin type, where you were born, everybody is a chosen being with value and worth. There is no chosen race. There is no chosen place, country, no chosen person to lead as a messenger of God or a divine entity. It's just a false narrative, and it's up to you. You can believe what you want, but collectively you can change everything. You can eliminate pain and suffering and move into a position, transit into a position of harmony and abundance for everybody. And it's a matter of just making that decision, and you can make that decision now collectively and not tolerate this mode of pain and suffering, and this mode of pain and suffering guised as a higher calling. It's false, it's not true, and it serves no one. This video here, Ben Mycelis just posted this one today, and I'm going to use this as an example to help people better understand what's going on in the present.
Pope Leo XIV is absolutely furious at Donald Trump and the Trump regime and their behavior. As we previously reported, Pope Leo has called off all visits essentially to the United States on the 250th United States anniversary. July 4th, Pope Leo made a point that he will be in Lampedusa in Italy, spending his time showing compassion for the migrant community there. And we're learning some additional details as Pope Leo XIV has been calling out Donald Trump and his despicable regime's imperialist and tactics of saying we're going to obliterate civilizations and everything is going to war. We're going to obliterate you and destroy everything. Pope Leo XIV has been calling that out, and J.D. Vance, who converted to Catholicism, and Pete Hegseth, who invokes God all the time. Pope Leo XIV has been pretty much directing messages without necessarily saying their names, but it's clear he's calling them out. And so what the Trump regime tried to do, and this was a tactic that Hitler did with the bishops right before Hitler engaged, in the Holocaust or right around that time, is to threaten Pope Leo XIV and to threaten the Holy See with the United States military. And essentially the same way the Trump regime was threatening to invade Greenland, right behind the scenes, what we're learning today is that the United States was making threats that suggested that they would use military force against the Holy See, against the Vatican, against Pope Leo XIV. And they summoned Pope Leo XIV's, like, Ben, what are you talking about? Yes, they summoned Pope Leo XIV's top American diplomat to the Pentagon, which now calls itself unlawfully the Department of War. The Undersecretary of War, Elbridge Colby, invoked the Avignon papacy, the period when the French crown used military force to bend the Bishop of Rome to its will. And they said that we have the power. This is what the Trump regime said to Pope Leo XIV's top diplomat in the United States, that we have the military power to do whatever we want. Whatever we want, we will do in the world. And Pope Leo XIV, he needs to know that. So the Catholic Church has better take sides, and they better take the right side.
And this is a dangerous position. Now you understand why this is dangerous. The United States of America has no right to exert its will on any country in the world, not unilaterally for their own purpose, for their own self-enrichment. It's a false narrative that they're doing it for the betterment and as a messenger of a divine creator. It's a false narrative. And Mark Rutte, NATO head that went to the White House just, I believe today, went on CNN and said the world is safer because of Donald Trump, is absolutely bull crap and should not be embraced whatsoever. It's not true, and it's the wrong way of doing things. Force against force serves no one. There is no chosen race. There is no chosen person, no chosen peoples. Every human being has value and worth, regardless of religion, creed, color of skin, or gender entity. And that covers everyone. Lesbian, gay, etc., etc. I'm missing out on a few, but I'm talking about everything and all entities that are human beings, are chosen people, and have value and worth. We need to get away from this pain and suffering, and we can just make that decision right now and move into a position of harmony, prosperity, and abundance for all people. Going back to the video.
Now, this meeting that took place that I just referenced was in January, and it followed Pope Leo XIV's speech, which was kind of a state of the world speech that he gives. And as Christopher Hale writes, in the speech that enraged Pete Hegseth and top Pentagon officials, Pope Leo XIV said, "A diplomacy that promotes dialogue and seeks consensus among all parties is being replaced by a diplomacy based on force. War is back in vogue, and a zeal for war is spreading. The principle established after the Second World War, which prohibited nations from using force to violate the borders of others, has been completely undermined." And since Pope Leo XIV essentially had his life threatened and the life of the cardinals and bishops and others in the Holy See threatened by the Trump regime, Pope Leo XIV has not backed down at all. During this unlawful and catastrophic war in Iran, where at the end Donald Trump completely folded, Pope Leo XIV directed this message to Pete Hegseth: "Jesus is the King of Peace who rejects war, whom no one can use to justify war. He does not listen to the prayers of those who wage war, but rejects them. Even though you make many prayers, God will not listen. Your hands are full of blood." In other words, Pete Hegseth, stop invoking the name of God and Jesus in your war crimes because they are not listening. Also, Pope Leo XIV is saying that the type of thinking of Hegseth and J.D. Vance is entirely foreign to the way of Jesus Christ. The Pope argues that Christianity has been distorted by a desire for domination, warning that people mistake power for righteousness. Quote, "We consider ourselves powerful when we dominate, victorious when we destroy. Instead," he says, "God's example is not how to dominate, but how to give life," and adds that Jesus does not listen to the prayers of those who wage war. And take a look at some of the posts that Pope Leo XIV has been making lately. He says, "The cross is part of the mission. The imperialist occupation of the world is disrupted from within. The violence that until now has been the law is unmasked. The poor, imprisoned, and rejected Messiah descends into the darkness of death. Yet in doing so, he brings in a new creation." He also writes, "Death is always lurking. We see it in violence, in the wounds of the world, in the cry of pain that rises from every corner because of the abuses that crush the weakest among us, because of the idolatry of profit that plunders the earth's resources, because of the violence of war that kills and destroys." He then writes, again, these are messages that seem obviously directed at Trump and Hegseth and Vance and this entire Trump regime. Often the proclamation of truth is obscured by what we today call fake news, lies, insinuations, and unfounded accusations. Yet in the face of such obstacles, the truth does not remain hidden. Rather, it comes forth to meet us, living and radiant, illuminating, even in the deepest and
this is what is so dangerous. This fake news, getting oligarchs to purchase all the media, to be able to change the narrative, to be able to subconsciously, unconsciously, and consciously change the way you think. Through the frontal lobes and the upper cortex, you're very easily manipulated, and you do not realize it. And this is how media is being used to change the message, to change the way you think, to make this kind of behaviors a way of life, which should not be. And the fake news, this is dangerous. Why you have J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, going to Hungary to try to promote a guy like Orban to be in control. When you understand how Orban got in control of Hungary to begin with, was by the support of the Russian Brotherhood. You'll say, what is the Russian Brotherhood? Well, you got an Italian mafia, and you've got Russian mafia, Russian Brotherhood. They became the oligarchs, and this is what has happened. And you don't understand how it's influencing Europe and entities around the world. Organized crime is an issue everywhere. Western democracy, Europe, Asia, whether it be the Pacific Rim or South Asia, it doesn't matter. Organized crime is an issue. There's no reason people need to live lives where pain and suffering is accepted. We should all be able to live in a life of harmony, abundance, without compromise. Let's go back to the video.
Darkness and the deepest and darkest hours. Now, I think when Pope Leo the 14th was ultimately made the Pope, lots of people became the Pope. Lots of people were looking at his background, the first American Pope born and raised in the United States of America, and then obviously studying and traveling abroad and rising through the ranks of the Catholic Church abroad. But I think someone who was known that would stand up against the exact type of things that Donald Trump is engaging in now, and he has not shied away from it. Remember when Donald Trump had he's still having it, but when the ICE and Border Patrol, Gestapo were rounding up and killing and murdering and maiming people in the streets, you had Pope Leo the 14th standing up, speaking out, coordinating with cardinals in the United States and bishops and the church got really active, as you remember. I mean, going into the federal immigration buildings. I mean, being there, demanding that they be able to pray with the individuals who were kidnapped and administer mass. All of that was happening, and Pope Leo the 14th was behind it all, and he was directing it. I mean, just to show you some other data points, I mean, this was Pete Hegseth. This was Hegseth yesterday, invoking the name of God over and over again in terms of threatening the entire civilization of Iran with genocide. Here, play this clip.
Our troops, our American warriors, deserve the credit for this day, but God deserves all the glory. Tens of thousands of sorties, refuelings, and strikes carried out under the protection of divine providence, a massive effort with miraculous protection. Dude 44 Bravo spoke for all of us. God is good.
Okay, so there we go. That's enough. No need to watch anymore. I stated what needs to be stated. It's time to make a decision. You can make a decision and stop this pain and suffering right now. The collective of the people can embrace pain and suffering or harmony and abundance. And it's easy as making that decision now. No God or no divine creator will use harm to create a position. The human being having this experience creates that pain and suffering or harmony and abundance. It's the human being that creates the reality of the life you live. Do not accept this way of being governed. It serves no one. So questions, comments, by all means, you can throw it in the comments section. Sending love and peace to everyone. Take care.